Children, in my third video, I'm going to explain you the remaining paragraphs and the message given by the writer.
Here the narrator tells us that the baker made his musical entry on the scene with a jang jang sound of his specially made bamboo staff. One hand supported the basket on his head and the other hand banged the bamboo on the ground. He would greet the lady of the house with good morning and then place his basket on the vertical bamboo. The baker often made a musical entry with his bamboo stick. His one hand supported the basket on his head while the other banged the bamboo on the ground. He would go house to house and greet the ladies before handing them over the loaves. Even we kids would be pushed aside with a mild rebuke. Here, rebuke means scolding, and loaves would be delivered to the servant, but we would not give up. We would climb a bench or a parapet. Parapet here means a low protective wall along the edge of a roof or a balcony. Here the narrator again said that the parents they used to scold the children and just make them stand inside. But as he said that we would not give up. The narrator said that they did not give up, and what they used to do, they used to climb the bench or the parapet. It's a low protective wall along the edge of the roof and peep into the basket. Somehow can still recall the typical fragrance of those loaves. Here the narrator wants to tell us that sometimes he just remember the fragrance they used to come from those loaves. Love the fragrance of that. And loaves for the elders and the bangles for the children. And what they get? The loaves for the parents and the bangles, bread bangles, sweet bangles for the children. Then we did not even care to brush our teeth or wash our mouths properly. And why should we? Who would take the trouble of plucking the mango leaf for the toothbrush? And why was it necessary at all? The tiger never brushed his teeth. Hot tea could wash and clean up everything so nicely after all. Here the narrator wants to tell us that even when they just see that bread bangles, they even never bother about or brushing the teeth. And what they want? They only want bread bangles. Because what they think that it's very unnecessary to just pluck the mango leaves and from the branches and then brush their teeth. They found it's a very difficult task. They said, why should we? No, we'll not do. We would take the trouble of plucking the mango leaf and for the toothbrush. And why it is not necessary? The narrator wants to know that why it is necessary to brush the teeth. Because what happened? Because the tiger never brushed his teeth. The narrator compared himself with the tiger and he said that tiger never brushed his teeth. Hot tea could wash and clean everything so nicely after all. And he just considered unnecessarily because the hot tea could effortlessly wash their mouth. And they thought that animals like tiger never brush their teeth. Marriage gifts are meaningless without the sweet bread known as the ball. Just as a party of feast means a large meal, typically a celebratory one, loses its charms without bread. Not enough can be said to show how important a baker can be for a village. The lady of the house must prepare sandwiches on the occasion of her daughter's engagement. Cakes and bolinahas. Bolinahas, it's another name of coconut cookies, are a must for Christmas as well as other festivals. Thus, the presence of the baker's furnace in the village is absolutely essential. Here, the narrator wants to tell us that the bread is an important part of the Goan culture. From sweet breads, that is bowl, at marriages, and to sandwiches at the engagement parties, and cakes and boilnas, that is coconut cookies at Christmas as well as other occasions, makes the presence of a baker in every village very essential. Without them, everything will be incomplete. Here the narrator has described about the dress that has been worn by the bakers. The baker or bread seller of those days had a peculiar dress known as the kabai. It was a single piece long frock reaching down to the knees. In our child means narrator's childhood, we saw bakers wearing a shirt and trousers which were shorter than full length ones and longer than half pants. Even today, anyone who wears a half pant which reaches just below the knees invites the comment that he is dressed like a pedder. Here, the bakers were known to have worn unique knee length frock dresses known as kabai, and it was a single piece long frock reaching down to the knees. Here, the narrator is telling us that in his childhood he had seen them wearing what? Shirt and trousers, and they were shorter than full length ones, means they used to wear half pants. And he said that to have dressed like a baker or pedder, as it was said in olden times. He said even today, when anyone they used to wear half pant which reaches just below the knees, people used to comment like that that person is dressed like a pedder, as a pedder used to wear in the olden times. The baker usually collected his bills at the end of the month. Monthly accounts used to be recorded on some wall in pencil. Baking was indeed a profitable profession in the old days. The baker and his family never starved. He and his family and his servants always looked happy and prosperous. Their plump physique means pleasantly fat body, was an open testimony to this. Even today, any person with a jackfruit like physical appearance, it means plum physique, is easily compared to a baker. Here, open testimony means public statement about it. Here, the baker usually used to collect their bills in the end of the month, and they had a way of making monthly record on the bills of on the wall with a pencil. They used to write on the wall with a pencil, and really baking was a very profitable job. And the baker's family, the workers, they never starved. They have been always happy and joyous, and usually you can see the baker, they're having the plum physique, means fat body, and that was a proof that he has a lot to eat, and hence was a proof of his richness. Even to this day, someone with a well built body is compared to a baker. Children, here is a message of the chapter The Baker from Goa. The author Lucio Rodriguez wants to impress upon the reader that every area, state, or region has one peculiarity or another which is not known by most people. In this sense, the pedder, with his peculiar dress, occupies a pride of place in Goan life, and no Goan can think of a life without him. He is there at the doorstep in the morning, just like the newspaper. The institution of the pedder has become so wedded to the Goan life that it will always remain immortal. Indirectly, the author suggests to revive and preserve out old traditions and add to the rich diversity of India.
Children, I think the chapter is clear to you. In this chapter, I have taken you to Goa and you come to know about the bakers of Goa. If still any doubt is there, you can contact me. Thank you. Have a nice day.